I really don't use the get to work retail system very often. I like the idea of my Sims running a store, and I like the idea of my Sims going shopping, but it's just not something that I do that much. So retail lots are just not really a community lot type that really crosses my mind. So I've been trying to think of ways to get myself to go out and visit those places more, and I thought it might be interesting to combine it with another one of my more underutilized features, which is the jewelry from Crystal Creations. And I love Crystal Creations. I love the furniture, I love the gameplay of that pack, but your sim needs a lot of time and a lot of skill to craft most of those pieces. And I just don't really have most of my sims working at a jewelry stand all day, so I don't end up using any of that craftable jewelry. At most, I'll maybe have them craft one engagement ring, which means there's a ton of necklaces and bracelets and earrings that I just don't ever see. Which leads us into today's plan, because I'm gonna build a jewelry store and then pre-stock it with a ton of crafted custom jewelry, because that way you could bring your sims there and you could buy those necklaces, you can buy the pre-cut gemstones, and I can definitely see myself bringing sims here for a little jewelry shopping trip on a special occasion. And we're gonna build this in Magnolia Promenade, which is also an underutilized world in The Sims 4. Underutilized for a reason. It's like basically not a world. It's just 4 lots. I'm gonna bulldoze this Patty Wax Emporium lot and we'll build it here on the 20 by 21. So that's the plan for today. And I've been talking enough already, so let's just dive straight into the speed build. So in this speed build, we're gonna build the entire building, we're gonna fully decorate it, but I don't actually stock the shelves in this sped up segment. I manually crafted all of the jewelry and all of the crystals. So I literally had Stanley stood upstairs making every single thing individually, and it took a really long time, so I didn't leave it in the speed build footage, but I will show you a tour at the end and I'll point out all the things that we've crafted and kind of explain how it works. When I watched the footage back, it just was kind of weird because I was in live mode and I was just like crafting and crafting and crafting over and over again. The camera was spinning loads. So I won't make you watch that here, but I did live stream this build first over on my Twitch channel. So if you happen to be there live, you did sit through me crafting that stuff for over an hour, and hopefully it wasn't too boring. I had fun doing it, but I'm very conscious of it being like really repetitive, you know? But anyway, on the exterior of the building, you'll see I used a lot of the Cozy Bistro kit for this. That kit has the most perfect, beautiful windows. So I wanted to use those across the whole exterior. It's got this lovely blue color and a lot of gold accents. And I was kind of going for like a blue, white, and gold color scheme on the inside of this building. There's a lot of marble decor. A lot of people in my chat were saying it looked like Tiffany's, which was not my intention. I was not trying to make that, although it does kind of match that color scheme. I'm gonna be honest, I haven't spent any time at all in my entire life in jewelry stores in real life. So this isn't gonna be like the most accurate jewelry store depiction, but it is functional for the game, and I think that's what matters the most. In the downstairs, we've got like one big main room where all of the jewelry store stuff is. So we've got lots of different tables and glass cases. In the downstairs, we've got like one big main display room where we've got glass cases and tables and shelves to put all of the stock on. And off to the side, we have the front desk area. And then in the very back, we've got a small bathroom section and also a staircase that leads you upstairs. And upstairs, I pictured as being kind of like the employee only area. Sometimes when I build retail stores, I'll put like an apartment upstairs above the store. But in this case, I was thinking more along the lines of like a crafting room, because to run a store like this, you're gonna have to have your sims constantly crafting more jewelry. So I wanted to get a few of those crafting tables upstairs. And there's also like a small kitchen area in case you needed to cook food so your sims could survive while they're here. And there's also a small kitchen area and like a desk and a computer. I wanted to have all of the things to fix most of your sims needs so you could still survive if you were trying to work here. But I didn't put like a bed or a shower. It's mostly just like bare necessities like toilet, kitchen, stuff like that. I also used like a million packs in this building. It's almost embarrassing because it's so small. But there are so many packs in here. Obviously, mostly get to work in Crystal Creations, but there's a lot of kits in here too. I used like the Modern Luxe kit in this space, the Cozy Bistro kit for all the windows. You're gonna see Life and Death flooring for that pretty wood floor. This main marble floor is from Get Famous. It was kind of fun too because I feel like I got to use a lot of items that I never use in my builds. A lot of these get to work display cases just don't really have a place in most of my homes. Like, I don't know if I've ever used this glass display display case before, so I was really excited to get a chance to fit it into this build. Those glass display cases in the middle of the building are where all of the crystals are gonna go. So in Crystal Creations, there's like 2 different things that you can make. You can craft jewelry, obviously, and you can also craft cut crystals. One your sim can wear, the other one's kind of like a decor item for your sim's house, and they also have different effects because the whole point of Crystal Creations is that you can charge those items and each crystal has kind of like a different bonus perk. The best one, in my opinion, is the Plum Bite, which makes your sim's needs go up when they're around a charged version of that crystal. So if you've got a charged Plum Bite cut crystal, like a gem, just sitting on your table, it'll have like an aura around it. Most of the sims in that room basically will be affected, and so all of the sims in that room will have their needs go up slowly. You just have to be in that room near the crystal for it to work on you. But if you have jewelry, like a Plum Bite necklace, for example, it will only affect the sim who is wearing it, but it'll work no matter where they are. So they could leave the house and go to the park and they'll still get the crystal effects. And there's a ton of different crystal effects. Like there's one that affects your sim's sleep needs, some affect moods, some make your sims have relationship gains. There's one that I think just lets them find crystals around the house if it's on. So I tried to have a pretty wide variety of nice, useful crystals, but also nice looking crystals in this build. And I also tried to have a wide variety of different cuts and different styles of jewelry, but I'll explain that more once we get to the end of the video. Right now at this point, we're mostly just thinking layout. Like I was kind of trying to figure out where and how it was gonna work, and then later on I go back through and pick out more design-based stuff. I don't really think that I'm very good at community lots, so I've definitely built a couple different community lots that look like this one shape-wise. It's just really not my strong suit. I'm kind of insecure about my own problems building community lots. I think that I'm really good at building houses in The Sims. Like that is my thing. I love to do it, but I struggle so much with community spaces. And I always say that I think it's because real life ones are kind of ugly, but that's a silly excuse. I think that I just don't possess a talent for community lots, which is why I don't do it very often. This one's okay. It's not bad. The interior is definitely the highlight though. The exterior is kind of just fine to me. I tried to put a couple cute things, like you just let me put all the windows in. I tried to mark down some spaces with dirt where I would put landscaping. And then I also put this small wall, and then behind it, I hid a dumpster because I thought that was kind of realistic to have a little dumpster tucked away. I thought about using one of the fences because there's like a get to work fence that almost looks like it would be good to hide a dumpster with, but the place was too fancy to have the dumpster visible. So I went back and put a real half wall instead because then it is like completely hidden from view. Nobody wants to come here and buy expensive jewelry next to a dumpster. Like you need to keep that thing secret. Of course they have a dumpster, but you don't want to look at it. And also the dumpster is a nice spot to woohoo if you wanted to bring your Sims here. I even put one of those little woohoo closets from Lovestruck upstairs. So there's a couple of options if you wanted your Sims to do that for some reason. I don't know, maybe it's romantic to like woohoo in the dumpster and then buy an engagement ring. No, that's horrible. You woohoo in a dumpster and then your partner proposes to you. Oh, that's a nightmare. Or worse, you get engaged and then immediately woohoo in the dumpster right afterward. I'm sorry, I shouldn't even bring it up. That's disgusting. As far as the color scheme goes, I'm like, move on, just move on. With the color scheme, it's mostly just blue and white. We've got those pretty blue windows. I have the pretty white awnings, and then I put a lot of white flowers around it outside. I thought about trying to do some pink ones, but I thought they were a little bit too vibrant. I was going for like a slightly more almost pastel, nice, cool colors. And so I didn't want to use the bright pink. I used the little white flowers instead. And then for the wallpaper, I actually used a lot of life and death. There's like this life and death paneling that I put on some of the walls. And then I have a little bit of brick, basically. I also went through and tried to get those little cottage living wood pieces underneath all the fences. I thought it looked a little bit weird to have the fences just on the grass. And so I wanted to make them a little bit fancier looking. That's why for a time I was considering using the life and death debug ones, but the colors were a bit off. I liked the gold on these fences, and so I just combined them. It was kind of a process to go through and place all the items, and the corners look a little bit strange, but I think it's okay. Just don't look too close at the corners, right? It's fine. It's totally fine. I don't know what I'm doing now. I was like bringing out computers just then for some reason. I think I was talking about how there's some kind of weird computers in the base game that are career unlocks, so you might have forgotten about them. There's like an alien looking one almost. Of course, I didn't put that in the side yard. That was not the plan. I was just making fun of it. That's the problem with doing this sort of thing on stream. It's like you get to talking about unrelated things and then you watch it back in the footage and it's like, what was I doing? I was just showing off these random things for no reason. Okay, well, the brick that I chose downstairs was a little bit controversial. Like, some of the chat didn't like the brick color that I picked because it was kind of grayish, but I was trying to use some colors that I don't normally go for. And that grayish brick is one that I never ever use because I don't like it very much. And so it might sound kind of silly to be like, oh, I don't like it, so I used it here. But that was what I did. I thought that I don't like it that much. I never use it. I should try and make it work on this building. And I didn't want to have a painted brick. I kind of like that one being a little bit more traditional looking. And the light gray almost matches the light gray in the sign if you look closely on the front. So I wanted to try it. And then as far as the rest of the exterior goes, I was trying to think about things to fill in the rest of the lot because it is kind of big and I didn't want to just leave it empty. So I was thinking about putting like tables outside. There's a couple of stands that exist in the game. There's like a little coffee cart from Eco Lifestyle. There's even a flower cart that comes in Wedding Stories, and I thought about trying to use that too, but I don't know if I liked how it was fitting because I wanted to put it in the front, but I liked the tables, so I changed my mind, and then I put it in the back, and I was like, you can't put the flowers next to the dumpster. That's horrible. So I was being really indecisive. And then I found this sign from Life and Death for the casket sale. It's this sign of a person laying inside of a casket, and it's trying to advertise the casket sale that pops up in that pack. And I put it in the front yard because, hear me out, it kind of looks like a jewelry box. I was like, this could be a bracelet case, you know, like a lovely little box for your fancy diamond bracelet. And it's just such a big diamond that a human person can fit inside of the box. So it's a stretch, okay? It is a stretch, but sometimes you just have to make do. So I kept that sign there. Some people really hated it, but I was committed. I stuck to it, so it's fine. It's there. Just pretend, okay? Just pretend. I also went in and I tried to add a couple debug walls to kind of fill in some corners. I loved those scallop tables. Those are from Riviera Retreat, but they match the scallops on the awnings pretty well. And I think that pretty much covers all of the exterior details. So we're mostly done with that now. We're gonna go back onto the inside in a second and we'll start working on all of those details. I really struggled with the exterior, so I was trying to get that part over with first. That was like high priority to me. I was excited about the inside, so I was like saving the best for last, you know? Okay, so there were a couple of things that I intentionally chose to exclude from the outside. I thought about trying to put one of those crystal trees from Crystal Creations, just because if you were gonna run a shop like this, it would be nice to have the crystal trees so you could get a constant supply of crystals. The only problem is I just don't like them that much. They kind of look weird. They're like purple. They're very whimsical and magical looking. And I don't think that this place is whimsical or magical. It's very fancy. It looks like Nancy Landgrab shops here. And I just don't think that the crystal tree matches, so I didn't include any of them. And I also didn't include any of the crystal charging mats. I thought about putting some, and I thought about putting some for sale as well, but they were just a little bit big and they also didn't really match that well. So I kind of left out all the crystal charging and I'm just selling the crystals and the jewelry. If you want to charge them, you'll have to do it yourself at home, but I think that's fine. These people aren't selling magic or anything. They're just selling earrings. So I didn't include that. And I got to use some fun wallpapers that I never ever use in here. I was trying to find a place to put some vintage glamour wallpaper too, because I don't ever use those. I had this really lovely mirrored wall behind the front desk. There's lots of blues and golds. The walls that you're seeing in most places and also the floors in the bathroom are from the Cozy Bistro kit. And then I used a lot of the Modern Luxe kit for decor because Modern Luxe has lots of gold and it's got some pretty pictures of like people wearing jewelry, which I thought was really good for in here. That whole kit is very glamorous and it just ties in so nicely with the idea of a jewelry store. I added a couple other fun details, like a bunch of security cameras all over the place. I put security cameras on like every angle ever in this building, which I felt like was probably kind of realistic. And there's also a vault upstairs. You don't really need the vault, but I think that it's nice for storytelling purposes because it would make sense that they would have a vault in this place. The vault and the break room are both behind a bookcase door upstairs as well, which is kind of silly. The bookcase door is maybe a little bit unrealistic unrealistic, but it made me laugh, so I wanted to put one in. In the front there, I put a couple of mannequins, and obviously it's not a clothing store, but I liked the idea of the mannequins existing just to model jewelry. And I'll show you once we get back into the game for the tour, but I eventually dressed those mannequins in like kind of plain white clothing, but with some really fancy jewelry, like big crystal-y necklaces from the game. And technically, if you come to visit this lot, you can buy those outfits, but the outfits themselves are kind of plain. It's more the jewelry that's the star. I also had some tables in the front to kind of display some more crystals, and then you'll see a few shelves around the place. One of those shelves has fake items on them and the rest are all real. So I put a couple glasses and a couple of watches from the Everyday Clutter kit, and everything else is real jewelry that's like actually custom wearable in game. Those are just clutter items, if that makes sense. That's the difference. Okay, so upstairs I've got 3 of those crystal tables, and I made good use of those when I was playing this to like fully decorate everything. Basically, I had Stanley Humphrey here, and then I kept seeing random Sims walk by, just like past the street. I would shift click and add them to my household with cheats, and then I would cheat their crystal skill, their gemology skill, I guess is the correct word, and then I would just make them do it too. So I had like Jeffrey Landgrab in here making crystals with me because I was trying to speed up the process. And of course, if you wanted to play here and like run the jewelry store yourself, you could have like your Sims friend helping them make them, your Sims partner, or whatever it is. This room that we're doing right now is the break room. I put a full kitchen in there, but I think I ended up replacing the stove with a microwave in the end because I thought the stove was maybe a little bit too full on. A microwave, a coffee maker, those things make a little bit more sense for a public space like this. I also think that the door into the vault is so ridiculous. It's from Get to Work and it's this like wacky metal one, but I stand by it. I like that it's weird. It was fun for me to use it, even though it looks a little bit strange. Oh no, it is a microwave, it's a coffee maker. There is no microwave, I just told you a lie. I just finished it and there isn't one, so I'm sorry. In this room though, I did also put a shelf inside. We're basically doing last minute details upstairs, so I've got some finishing things in the break room. I put a shelf in the vault. I put that like stolen necklace in the vault, and I didn't realize this, but in live mode, that stolen necklace has lasers on it, which looks a little bit weird, but we can pretend that that's the most expensive, fanciest thing that they own, right? It's the nicest thing they're selling, so they've got some extreme security on that thing. Oh, I also filled the vault with cash, which I just kind of sped past. I don't think that it counts the cash on the gallery. Like, I think it'll go away on the gallery upload, but I'll show you what it looks like because it looks pretty cool in there when it's full. I put a few Crystal Creations clutter items in that upstairs room, and then for a time, I was considering trying to put a ladder to the rooftop and then maybe putting some of those charging mats on the roof, but everything I did for it just looked weird. It seemed really off, it was strange, it didn't make any sense. Thought about making it into a balcony, but all of it was a poor choice. It was weird, and so I kind of just got rid of it. This was a fail. Good idea in theory, but maybe not the best in real life. And also, you probably wouldn't be charging the crystals here anyway, and it's not your problem to sell charged crystals. Like, they can do that at home, so I left it out. I did put one in the front though, like a display item next to our little casket sign, and that's the only charging mat here. So technically you can charge things, but it's more of a display. We're doing some last minute touches, like some flower boxes, and that's the full build mode. That's everything build mode before I started stocking the store. So at this point is when I started just having Stanley craft me jewelry. I'll give you a tour now so you can see the full finished product. I called it Humphrey & Co. Jewelers on the gallery. It costs about 90,000 simoleons and it uses so many packs. It uses some really random packs like the Moonlight Chic kit because of those cast mannequins that I made, which makes it even worse. But this is what it looks like from the exterior when you first come in. I'll show you around the outside first as a refresh, and then we'll go back inside and look at all the cool stuff. So this item is a food stall. It sells like coffee and things, which I kind of liked the idea of, and then it makes the tables make more sense. I also put a little crystal gnome next to our casket sign. I shouldn't zoom in on that. Jewelry box. It's a jewelry box sign, okay? No dead people invited. There's no dead people on this lot. I didn't do anything suspicious. And then around the outside, we've got that little wall hiding the dumpster. I ended up adding in some daisies kind of in those little flower boxes just to add some more color. And that is the full exterior. And now we move inside for the fun part. So if you look really closely in those windows, you can kind of see what I mean with those pretty dresses on the mannequins. One has all silver jewelry and then one's got all gold jewelry. And I tried to get some really nice things that looked expensive, like this necklace. She also has a pretty gold bracelet. And I think one of those Sims even has bedazzled, yeah, look, bedazzled shoes. So those are pricey too. And then I just put some of these necklace things next to them. You can't actually display anything on these. It's fake, so we kind of have to just pretend there's something on them. Straight through those front doors, we have all of these crystals in those display cases. I've got a wide variety of different cuts and also different kinds. This is a plumbite gemstone, so that's the one that will increase your needs slowly over time. This one's a diamond, so your sim is less likely to develop relationship fears and they'll have less romantic relationship decay. We've got this skull-shaped jet that can summon the Grim Reaper if you charge it. I always liked the amethyst too because it makes your sim gain energy faster when they're sleeping. This is really useful if you've got like a bunch of toddlers or if you're playing like the 100 baby challenge because they can get their energy need up quicker, especially for babies and toddlers that can't buy expensive beds. This fire opal makes you more successful with romantic social. So I just tried to get a wide variety of different things for you. And then over here on this side is the vast majority of all of the jewelry that we're selling. So this left side is all gold. The right side is all silver. We've got necklaces on display on the bottom here. There's rings above and then earrings at the very top. And I really tried to make a bunch of different options. So there's lots of different things, different styles for everybody. And hopefully they're pretty versatile. I've also got a plain, just like diamond looking engagement ring on both different sides. One's gold, one's silver. There's also some kind of fancier, like more dramatic statement pieces. Like these look really cool with the purple and orange. But we also have just some plain star studs. So hopefully, again, something for everybody. And then if you come up this way, we've got those fake things like the glasses and the watches, but I also put bracelets over here. So there's gold on the bottom and then silver on the top. Again, with the variety, there's like some simple star jewelry. There's some really fancy statement jewelry. And then we've got last, just some basic stuff. This is just a plain gold and silver band and a plain gold and silver necklace. It's always nice to have that kind of stuff too. So you could come here and buy wedding rings for your sims if you wanted, or if for some reason you wanted a moonstone gnome, you could get that too. And then down through this doorway, I put a couple of decorative crystals on the wall, and then we have the bathroom in here. I even put a changing table in this place, although I don't know if I recommend bringing your infants here. Seems like it would be a pain, but there's 2 sinks, and then we also have 2 bathrooms. This is way bigger than it needs to be, but I had the space, so I used it. And then through this door, this is where we take that staircase upstairs into the employee space. So we've got 3 of those different Humphrey gemology tables, which I'm not kidding, is literally called the all-in-one gemology table by Humphrey Inc., which is so fun. And they've got like some storage and stuff. And this is the supply closet that you can woohoo in. And then through here, we've got the kitchen, we've got a computer for you, and then this door takes you into the vault. So I put some bags of money and then one of those stolen necklace things, and this item looks empty unless you use it. So I'm gonna bring a sim here just so I can show you. Oh, I also gave this lot the peace and quiet and romantic aura lot traits to help you. I said Nancy would shop here. I'll bring her here. Oh, it's snowing. That does kind of throw off our plans, but that's fine. I'll give her some money and then we can add money to this vault. I'll put like 100,000 inside. Why she's giving money to this random place, I don't know, but that's fine. Look at this. When the vault is full, it looks so cool. It's got like stacks of gold bars, there's fancy necklaces, and you can also nap in the money. And if I bring Jeffrey here, you can woohoo in the money pile. So if you were to place this lot, honestly, I would bring a sim here and just cheat to put this in there because it won't save on the gallery, so I can't do it for you. But it's just fun to have this option, okay? It's a nice opportunity to have them do something really silly. Look at this.
Oh.
It's the same as the woohoo animation when they woohoo in like a pile of leaves with seasons, but this one's better because it's money, okay? But I think on that note, I'm gonna end this video right here. I hope that you enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun building this lot. It was really fun to do. And I think I'm totally gonna place this to have my sims come like buy an engagement ring and then propose to their partner. So I'm gonna have fun using it and I'll catch you all tomorrow, okay? Bye everybody. Look at them. Oh my God. How did we end up woohooing in a jewelry store speed build? Like how did we get to this point? These videos are so weird.